Hello and welcome. My name is Andrew Couch. My business partner, Paul Shelton, is the man over my left shoulder. We're Sound Legacy. We are an audio-video production company here in San Rafael, California, helping people tell their life stories, whether it's through an audiobook, a podcast, or our specialty family legacy videos. Will help you tell your story. And what we're doing on this podcast is talking to great storytellers. Our guest today is one of those. Her name is Amanda Eichstaedt. She is the station manager and executive director at a local community radio station in Point Reyes, KWMR. We've gotten to know her over the past several months and quite like what she's up to, and she's been a tremendous advocate of what we're up to. So I kind of wanted her to share her personal story. She's got a good one, and the story of her station. I think you may or may not know there are many public radio stations out there that are suffering due to massive budget cuts at the federal level. The way that Amanda's handling it, I think, is commendable. It's novel. It shows grit and creativity, and I'm just a fan of anyone who's just not going to take it laying down. And that's Amanda. She's doing great work out there, and so is her team. It's a great radio station. If you don't know about it, KWMR in Point Reyes Station. Look them up online, kwmr.org. And yeah, enjoy this episode. If you've got any questions, reach out to us at mysoundlegacy.com. We've got a contact form there. We'll tell you anything you want to know. All right, without any further ado, I'm going to give you my conversation with our new pal and yours, Amanda Eichstaedt. Thank you so much, Amanda, for driving over the hill. There's a few things I want to talk to you about today.
Okay.
In no particular order. One, I want to know about the current state of KWMR. I want to know a little bit about the history of KWMR. But first, I guess, I want to know about the history of you, because we met back in March,
Yeah. I think I met you because you had done a little reel of my buddy, Jeff Wilkinson.
Yeah. The man with the greatest eyebrows in radio.
He cultivates them, I believe.
He's got to.
He must put some kind of magic grow on those things. Yeah.
I need to get a vial and put it on top of my head.
His show is fabulous.
It's really good.
It's a really good show.
What's it called?
He has two shows. One, he's doing the Cruisin' show on Mondays at 2 p.m., and then he does Saturday Night Function.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't heard Saturday Night Function.
That's on Saturdays from 8 to 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's, I think the radio has been good to him, and he's been good to the radio.
Yeah,
so.
You can tell he's like, he loves it. I mean, he just sits there and kind of waits for an opportunity to tell somebody, like a stranger coming to town out there by the coffee shop.
I know.
So anyhow, we met through that, and I have come to know you as, like, I think of when I read The Tipping Point, I just read it recently, I was like, I know someone like that, talking about connectors.
Yeah.
And you're clearly a connector of people, of ideas, and I feel very fortunate to be in your orbit. Because of you, I met my first centenarian, our lovely client, Ellie, Eleonora.
My mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Who will be 102 later this month.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Such a sweet lady. And you've introduced me to so many cool people, so...
Well, there was a guy that when I was in college, I took a national student exchange program. I was at UMass, and I went to University of New Mexico, and I was on this exchange program, and we had the greatest advisor. I can't remember his name, but he was just this dynamic dude. And someone finally said, what is it that you do? What is your thing? And he said, I know a guy who needs two goats, and I know a guy who has two goats, and it's my job to put those people together.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's a commendable skill. And I think I sort of somehow knew that was something that I was going to do. Amanda
Eichstaedt, somewhere between no goats and two goats.
Yeah, the go-between.
Executive director of KWMR and program director, and you have like 5.
Well, I'm not the program director. I'm the executive director and the station manager.
Station manager.
Someday my dream is that there will be two people
that can do those two jobs.
In those two jobs, and maybe one of them will be me.
I know a guy with no job. But yeah, you've got 5 of your own shows that you do, at least 5.
I do a lot of shows. Yeah.
So I guess what I'm slowly making my way towards, because we're not on real radio, on fake radio,
and I can
love
take
this
my
fake
time
radio getting
stuff.
there. Yeah, got a dog in the frame. What brought you to radio? I mean, you've done, I would imagine, many things in your life?
Well, I've always been a huge fan of radio. I mean, I remember as a kid,
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Tacoma, Washington,
Okay.
because my father was a poet and English professor at Pacific Lutheran University
Whoa.
in Tacoma. And, when I was little, I was born on the East Coast. I was born in New Hampshire. And my parents he was teaching at a prep school, and then he went to grad school at UMass and got his master's, and then he started applying for jobs. And many years later, I found this folder in our basement in a box that had these places where he had applied. So he had applied in Washington State and maybe Alabama, or we could have ended up in any of those places, but we ended up in Washington State. Because both my parents are from the East Coast, and so I grew up there. They went out there to be hippies, and my mom was a pretty good hippie, but my dad not so much. He tried.
Too much of an academic.
But he was really into sort of the Brandenburg concertos and classical music or outlaw country.
Oh, cool.
Like Waylon Jennings and Bobby Bear and all the stuff that I loved to play on my Bakersfield show that I didn't put those things together until much later.
But. Oh, that's cool. How'd you find that out about your dad, that he was so into?
Oh, we would listen.
Okay.
We would listen to either classical music or hardcore outlaw country when we went fishing. We would go fly fishing when I was a kid, and we'd be driving out in Washington State out to these amazing rivers and just fishing and listening and go to these little tiny stores. When I first moved to Point Reyes, I was go into these little store and they would have
beef jerky
and corn nuts.
And that's it.
And then I remember going into the Palace Market and going, oh yes, this is much different. This is top notch.
Right.
So.
Well, you don't have any hook cheese? Where you? Yeah.
It's we would eat this horrible stuff and go fishing and listen to all that great, Waylon Jennings and Jon Stewart and really good stuff.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Big. So that's a pretty interesting sort of dichotomy of classical and country.
Yeah.
And
then my mom was Janis Joplin, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. Then we started throwing our records in there, the Smiths and the Ramones and, the Fix and the Thompson Twins. And I was a super new wave fan. And I remember in high school, I drove this 63 Plymouth Valiant with a push-button transmission.
What?
That actually got darker when it got wet. It was a very cool car. And it was, there was this AM station out of Seattle called KJET. And it was way down on the left side of the AM dial. And they played the most esoteric, new wave stuff. And that I've looked it up. There are sort of a cult of KJET, people who were there when it was doing its thing.
Yeah.
And so radio has always been important, but I never did it in college because I never did it in college because I had to work.
Right.
Well, I tried to swim my first year at UMass. I walked on to a school team that recruited Amazonian goddesses. Yeah. And I was still dropped all my times by many seconds, and I was still the slowest person on the team. Wow. So I did that for one season, and then I was like, I got to get a job. And so I never did radio because I was too busy working.
I get that.
Yeah.
So where'd you go and what'd you study?
I went to UMass until I decided that, I moved. So I took a year off after high school. I went and worked on this family apple farm in Massachusetts.
Oh, cool.
And it was a farm that my great-grandfather had started. My great-uncle ran it. Both of them were commissioner of agriculture for the state of Massachusetts.
Oh, cool.
Then my second cousin was running it when I worked there, and now his son runs it.
Wow.
And it's a wonderful farm, and some of the orchards were some of the original Johnny Appleseed orchards.
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
The whole summer I was just mowing and picking rocks.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to go home and go to school on the West Coast, go to college on the West Coast. This was after I graduated from high school. And I was like, wait, what? I'm leaving, and then all these cool people are going to come and pick these apples. And I asked my cousin if I could stay. And he said, well, it's really hard work, and you have to promise that you're not going to quit before the end of the season.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And I talked to my mom and dad. I said, I'm not going to come back. I'm going to defer admission to the University of Puget Sound, the rival school, of course, to where my father taught.
Wow.
And I got one of the worst jobs. My job was to drive a John Deere tractor hauling a bin trailer up to the orchard, park it in a spot where you could get on another tractor and use rear forks to pick up full bins of carefully picked apples.
And try not to drop them into the...
And then roll it, position the thing and roll these things onto the bin trailer and then drive down to the packing house at like 1 mile an hour and then get off and push all of these bins through the Alar bath.
Oh my God.
So that may be in my future somewhere, but and I got kind of pudgy because they had donuts and
Right.
I was just sitting on a tractor all day and I got like a super frontal tan.
Your whole back is just...
Yeah, but I did it. I was really good at backing up trailers at that point in time.
You still got it?
No, I
lost
think
it?
I might work on it again in the near future.
It's a good skill to have. It's like
I
knowing
know.
how to sew. It's one of those things like you need to...
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, but I remember the first time he sent me up to the orchard to my cousin. He was a gruff, kind of a surly guy. You didn't want to make him mad.
Yeah.
And he sent me up with this work study guy to thin peaches. So we're up in these trees, and the reason he did it was because I had to back up a trailer. So he was getting me started on backing up trailers.
Right.
And the guy who was up there, we became pretty good pals, but he just hurled this peach like through the trees, and it just gave me the biggest shiner. It just hit me right in the eye.
Hit me in the face.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But that was probably one of my best jobs, was working on that farm.
Yeah. There's something about like being exhausted at the end of the day, or just like
There's
being
something
outside
about
all day.
going out early in the morning in the fall
Oh yeah.
on an apple orchard and going up to a tree and picking a perfectly ripe, cold apple from overnight that still has dew on it and bunching into it.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, it was the best.
I'm actually looking forward to that now. There's apple trees in our yard, and they're almost ready.
Yeah.
It's
Ours
not
have a
quite
ways
cold
to go.
enough, but
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. What a cool
So I took that
experience.
year off, and then I ended up saying, oh, well, look, I've been in Massachusetts for a year. I'm going to apply to UMass
Okay.
so I can get in-state tuition. So I did, and I got in, and then I went there for a couple of years, and then I was like, this falling down on the ice stuff is not... and then you're like, oh, maybe it's spring. Oh, I think I smell the earth. I think it's starting to thaw out. And then it would just like freeze again, and then you'd fall down. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go on this national student exchange. So I went to Albuquerque
Oh, nice.
because I'd never been there, and I didn't know a single person in the entire state, nor was I related to anybody there. And I thought, I need to do this because everywhere I've gone, it's like I had connects. So I went there, and I loved it. It was great. I love New Mexico.
It's beautiful.
Stayed for a second semester, and then I said, I'm not going back. I took another year off, worked, got residency, and then I ended up finally graduating from the University of New Mexico.
Nice. What was your degree? What did you go for?
The university studies degree, where you don't have to declare a major. You just have to have a certain number of upper division credits and have taken English 102.
So what were you interested in? Where did
I
you
had the
picture
best.
yourself?
I mean, I took a lot of art history courses. I took English courses. I took philosophy. I did some dance stuff. I started an organization called the Creative Arts Network with a couple of other students where it was a campus-wide creative celebration.
That's cool. Did you organize it?
Yeah, it
There we
was
go.
really cool. Well, these
There it
two,
is,
we did it as a team, the three of us. It was just one of those like, oh yeah, let's have this sitting in a pub, drinking some beers, and you're like, yeah, we should do this thing, and then we did it.
And you did it.
And we did it. Yeah, it was great. It was really fun.
Love that.
I finally graduated from there, and then I said, I got to get out of this state. Everybody's like, the land of enchantment. I'm like, this is the land of entrapment. I have no money. I'm not going to make any money here. I need to get
gotta go.
out.
Yeah.
So I ended up going back to the East Coast for a relationship that was kind of a pipe dream. It was just, it was that's a whole other story. But then I had started working for REI when I was in New Mexico.
That's cool.
Because I knew what it was.
Right.
And I also knew what polypropylene was. And they basically hired me on the spot because I knew about wicking fabrics.
Yeah.
And I worked there, and then I worked for REI for 9 years, and I worked my way up. So I went to Massachusetts, and I worked at the REI outside of Boston, and I worked at bookstore, and I was also worked for a matchmaker who
Like matches or
no,
matchmaker?
Zelda Fisher.
Connector.
She was a major connector,
Okay.
but it was weird. And that was like one of the weirdest jobs I've ever had.
Her name was Zelda?
Zelda Fisher.
I love her.
Matchmaker to the stars.
Amazing.
She had ads in the New Yorker. She had this huge overhead. And so sometimes my paychecks were like not cashing.
God.
But I think, she would do a search for you for $50,000. But I was in charge of this other group called Heroes and Choices. And you put together a calendar of fun events that people could go to, and then they would sign up, and then I might make like some strategic introductions.
Okay.
It was weird. It was like all these people who had super high powered jobs who were like looking for love, and here I was, this like scrappy out of college person. They wanted me to
from the apple orchard to your love life.
Yeah, and then I'd go to my other job selling camping equipment.
Right.
And then when my relationship imploded, I followed my boss to Eugene, Oregon, and worked for that store that was a really cool REI store. And I lived on a commune with my friends. Yeah.
In Eugene or Corvallis?
In Eugene. Yeah.
Nice.
And that was interesting. I think a lot of people who want to live, like really intentionally want to live on communes shouldn't.
Yeah.
It was sort of an accident, and I was like, okay. And then I got promoted again, and I moved to North Carolina.
Oh, cool.
And I worked there for a while in the Cary store for one. And it was sort of like they're the old school REI people that all started in Seattle and Portland. And I ended up sort of like working for a bunch of those managers who I'm still friends with.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, some of them even donate to KWMR.
Nice.
Still, yeah. And then I went from North Carolina to, where did I go after that? I went from Albuquerque to Boston. Oh, I went to Mission Viejo.
Where's Mission Viejo?
It's in Orange County.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And they put this store in like a bad shopping center, and I worked there until I decided that I had worked, I mean, if you were willing to relocate, which obviously I was because I moved all around, you could move up. And then they started growing pretty fast, and they started hiring people with retail systems management experience from like Mervyn's. And those people had never slept on the ground or done anything human-powered.
Yeah, the whole culture.
And I left and went to the bicycle industry.
Okay.
And I managed Palo Alto Bicycles in Palo Alto, which
nice.
is a really wonderful business. Had been around for a long time. They, the Hoffacker brothers owned Avocet, which made bicycle saddles and the very first cyclometers.
Oh, cool.
And they
Very
also had a mail order bicycle parts catalog way back, which you might have come across, that was the first mail order bicycle. They were, importing campy equipment from overseas. And there was a fellow named Jobst Brandt who was around when I was there. He was a big presence. He was a tall guy he rode a big yellow bicycle, and he helped design the tires and all this stuff. And he was fascinating. There's a whole book about him, actually, that just was published recently. He's passed away, but he took all these photos of all these people riding in the Alps, and that was what was in and when I was like, Palo Alto Bicycles, oh my God, I remember looking at that catalog in the 80s when I was a kid. And
were you a cyclist, or are you a cyclist? Because I know Ken.
Yeah, Ken, that's how we met, through bicycling. But I've always ridden. Yeah, I've always ridden my bike.
Have you done long distance bike tour?
I've done some. I started to ride across the country with this friend of mine. It was a debacle, and ended up hopping on a train and coming home. And I was going across Montana. I'm like, oh, this is a really big state.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm on this train. No, I still ride sometimes.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you live in one of the most incredible riding
And we ride
places
a
ever.
tandem. Ken and I ride a tandem.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So my wife and I rode across the country on the southern tier, and we spent almost all of Texas behind a couple on a tandem bike, and they were like in their 70s, like early 70s.
Good drafting.
And the guy pulled me. I was like, "How is it riding with your wife? Like, you guys are just all." He's like, pulled me aside. So he's like, "Whatever direction you think your relationship is heading, this will clarify that direction. You will know you're either going to be great, or it's going to end."
Oh, I had a tandem in a previous relationship that was like a giant silver indication in the garage that we should not be together.
So, yeah.
And he was a racer, and I would be on the back, and then these
keep up.
U.S. Postal Service, senior people who had run in the Olympics would be in these group rides, and we'd be like right on someone's wheel, and I'm like, would it be preferable to just hop off right now and roll in the road?
Yeah.
I just was so nervous. But
Oh, yeah.
I managed that bike shop. They actually tore the building down and rebuilt a whole new building while I was there. So we had to move the shop and then move it back.
Oh, my God. And bicycle shops are notoriously just cluttered with a million things. Like,
Well, right before I started working there, somebody had broken in and stolen the point of sale system and then thrown the computer on the roof of the building next door and stole a bike and then rode down and fell into the creek and broke their leg.
oh, my
And
God.
got arrested. So I was starting there and this guy was working. There were already people working. There was kind of the collection of people who couldn't get a job at any other bike shop because this shop was kind of in the dumps at that point in time. They had finally separated the two companies, but they did the classic thing where this company needs help. This company's being successful. Let's take some of the...
Right.
It was not good.
Yeah.
So I started and it had all these derelict dudes working there. And the first week I went to work and no one showed up. They were in jail for disturbing the peace, all of them together.
Oh, my God.
And so, we ended up turning things around. But I remember the first inventory because we had to retag every single thing in the store because we had a new system. And so I was like, okay, you're going to retag this. Okay, Jim, you go do this. And then the day we're going to do this inventory. It's really sort of the holy grail of retail inventory.
I know what you got.
And I'm like, okay, I put this sort of middle-sized box in the middle of the floor. And I said, okay, if you find something that doesn't have a tag on it, put it in the box. And by the 5 o'clock, there was like a 6-foot-high tall pile of stuff.
Oh, my
And
God.
and then I cried so much in that job. I mean, and then we hired some guy and I was in my office and I was crying. And he was like, she's crying. And the other guy says, I heard this. And the guy says, oh, she cries all the time. But don't worry, she's like a dude. If she gets mad at you, she just tells you and then she gets over it. And I cry when I get frustrated. So I've been doing a little crying lately.
I can imagine you've been doing a little crying lately.
So after
Yeah.
Palo Alto Bicycles, I went to work for the city. Well, I started the bike station, which is a staff bicycle parking facility at the Caltrain station in Palo Alto while I was at the bike shop. And that was very cool. And that's how I sort of got into advocacy.
Yeah.
And then
community.
I worked for the city of Palo Alto in the transportation division, doing all the transportation demand management. Mm-hmm. I was running the van pool program for the city.
Oh,
and they
nice.
have their own utility. They have their own utility as a city, and they had public works, and they had all these people coming like from the Central Valley in these van pools.
Really?
Yeah, and I was the van pool lady, and so I'd get these calls like, "This guy is disrespecting my sister, and this guy is like eating this like all this onions and garlic in the van." And then I was like, "Oh, how am I going to deal with this?" And so I said,
We're crying.
"Well, I'm going to come out next week, and we're going to talk about our feelings." Every time I said that, they would call me the next day and said they worked it out.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So
That's hilarious.
yeah, and it was like working for the city was good. It was a good city. I had a great boss. I really worked with wonderful people. Really great police department. It was just fine. That was a great job. And then
What year was this in Palo Alto?
I went to Palo Alto in the spring of '96. And I left in 2004.
Okay.
So I worked for the city, I think, for like 4 years.
Just as it started to really ramp
Yeah,
up.
well, they were doing the tech boom thing. I mean, it was that was sort of the first big tech boom was when I was down there. Like, oh, how do we find a place to live that isn't, $4,000 a month rent or something?
Like right around that first .com crash.
Yeah, it was and then I moved up to West Marin in 2004 in October.
So you've been in Point Reyes Station since then?
For 21 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
So
and I
that
didn't
brings
really
us
want to move there.
You didn't?
No, I was like, well, give it a try. Like, it's foggy. It's like out in the middle of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
And it was kind of a hard place to move to. I didn't know anybody, and I was running a bed and breakfast, which I had never done. So I left my job at the city to go and be a bed and breakfast operator.
So you're mostly alone during the week, and there's a bunch of strangers around during the weekend.
And my friends were like, "You're doing what?" Like, and I had never even stayed at a B&B in my life.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I figure out the front part, like, oh, welcome. Here's the living room. And here, let me show you to your room. And I can make breakfast. I mean, that's something I know. It was fun. The breakfast part was fun. But then I was like, but how do the systems work? Like, how do you not double book? Like, what software should I use? Like, so I called up these people in Napa and I said, because they had a school. Like if you want, because everybody wants to become a innkeeper. That's kind of a thing. It's really not what you want to do. Trust me.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. And so I called them. I said, I'm going to be starting to run this bed and breakfast. And they're like, all of our courses are full for the whole year. And I said, well, what's your timing? And I said, well, I'm starting next month. He said, well, you can come and shadow us for 3 days and we'll charge you $100 a day. And I'm like,
Perfect.
all right. When I show up and then we're going through he's showing me all the systems and how to keep track and just the organizing and the car, have some paper backup in case the electricity goes out, And then he says, and this is where we iron our sheets.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, I'm not ironing sheets. And he
Right.
said, and the guy was cool. He was like, well, then you don't have to iron sheets, but you just have to make sure you don't set the expectation that people are going to get iron sheets.
Right.
And I'm like, I will call the place, the wrinkly sheet in, if that's what it takes. Like, no. And so I ran the B&B up full time until I went to the radio station.
Where's that B&B? Is it still in operation?
It's where we live.
Oh, no way.
We moved into it about 8 years ago, but we had 3 rooms and the cottage, and we still run the cottage. We still run
Like
the
an
cottage.
Airbnb?
Yeah, well, we have our website, but we are on Airbnb.
Right.
So, yeah.
You all right, pal?
Hairball.
Yeah.
And then when we first moved there in October of 2004, then there was this big storm on New Year's. And all the towns were cut off from each other by flooding.
Wow.
And it was epic. And a fire engine got stuck in the campground, and the guy with the emergency radio for our town was not there. He was in Point Reyes. But we couldn't even go to Point Reyes.
Are you in El Lima?
Yeah, we're in Olima.
Yeah.
And I said, I need to get that radio.
Yeah.
I'm here all the time. Like my friends were like, oh, you're like Martha Stewart. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on house arrest. Because you couldn't go anywhere. Because people are like, yeah, we're going to be there at 5:30.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, ugh.
What am I going to do?
Try not to be irritated with these people because they're just enjoying Stinson Beach or whatever, or they're getting car sick driving over Mount Tam. And but it was really super interesting to see all those people before they had their coffee.
Yes.
It was like an in-depth study of people.
Oh, it's amazing.
In relationships, because you don't go to a B&B with a stranger.
Yeah.
You're either been married forever, or you're going to propose, or you're about to have a baby. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't have come out here on your baby moon. How pregnant are you? Should I be boiling water?
Right.
But nobody ever died or gave birth.
That's good.
But at the end, we did have some what would you call it? Domestic violence happen. Yeah, it was pretty epic.
You and I could swap stories. I spent a lot of time in the hospitality business. I've done every job at a hotel. Every job, from valet, doorman, making breakfast, checking people in. Breakfasts are insane and hilarious, and different cultures. I'm sure you had people from all over the world showing up.
Yeah.
And having a misunderstanding of how even just one story. I'll just quickly one story. We had biscuits and gravy over here, a little ladle to put gravy. Way over here, waffle maker. I watched a lady take a ladle full of gravy, walk it 7 feet, and pour it into the waffle maker. And just, there's nothing like burnt gravy. It will not leave. That smell will not leave.
Yeah.
And another woman took the raw pancake batter and was like, this pudding's terrible. I was like, Jesus, man, what are we doing?
Well, I made pancakes as many days as I could without giving anybody pancakes twice. Because pancakes are economical, and you can make them out of any flour.
Yeah.
You can jazz them up. You can put stuff in there. You can, I made a lot of pancakes, and I ate so much bacon.
Yes.
Because, these people aren't going to eat bacon, but I better make some extra. Those vegetarians, chomp, chomp, chomp.
Yeah.
I ate, and my cholesterol was really low too. I don't understand that. Yeah. It's not that way anymore.
State of mind, man.
Yeah, the bacon. It was really good bacon. It was at Marin Sun Farms bacon. It was good bacon.
All right.
It was
fun. You're in
so then
Olima.
so then the flood happens, and then I'm like, give me that damn radio. And someone's like, well, you need to go to KWMR and get that radio from Richard Dillman. And I'm like, KWMR, what are you talking about? Like, I'd only been there for like 4 months, hadn't figured out. And I still think there's people who are there that hadn't figured out that there's a radio station. So if you're listening to this, tune in.
Yeah.
And I went up and I went into you've been in there. You walk in and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Walls of CDs. And it was like everybody was super cool. And then I sort of was like, oh, maybe I want to do some radio. So I had a show on like localization, sort of like getting people to shop local and what could we do to keep our economy good in West Marin. This is before things have gone kind of tourism,
Right.
like off the charts. And we're like, how do we do this? And I was interviewing like Woody Tash, the Slow Money guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I did some great interviews, but then I was kind of like, I just want to play songs. I just want to play music.
Yeah.
So I started taking on these aliases and covering for people late at night and following these longtime DJs. And I was just in awe of these people.
Yeah.
It was so funny. We used to have a show on KWMR called the Friday Funk Fest. And this guy, the Fairfax Funketeer, was the DJ.
Come on.
Dude would throw down some crazy great funk.
That's great.
And he was like so understated. He was like, yeah, this is the Fairfax Funketeer. You're listening to the Friday Funk Fest. And then it would just be like funk. And he'd just be like, whoa.
Yeah.
James Brown, all the
Meters.
stuff.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
and one time I was at the station for some reason and he was there with his parents. And I was like, are you the Fairfax Funketeer? And I'm like, I love your show. He was mortified. He was like like a lot of people who do radio, they just want to like be in there by themselves and play music and just like leave me alone.
Yeah.
And here I was like fangirling out on this poor dude. If you hear this, Manny, I hope you're good. I hope you're doing well.
Doing all right. Stay shy.
We've had some other shows. So I had some great shows from when I was a volunteer to now. I've been at the station for 15 years as the station manager. But
so tell me, 15 years you've been running it.
Yeah.
For 15.
And when I took it over, things were not great.
I can imagine. I'm
having kind of flashbacks. I'm having a little because I'm like, we built it up, there was a time when we had to borrow money from the West Marin Fund to make payroll.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were getting that grant then. It was just so tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because donations and the overhead and that sort of thing. So you're how old is the station itself?
The station was so I was talking to someone else about this. So the station was formed like in the mid 90s as a radio station, burgeoning, like growing, like we want to be a radio station. And they broadcast on Horizon Cable before they got an antenna and got the FCC license.
Really? How does that work?
I think they just sent the audio they were in a similar location to where the cable people had their equipment. Okay. So I think that's a good question.
On TV? Like it was?
Up until recently, I believe we were on Horizon Cable Channel 47, but I don't know if that's true because I've never actually had cable TV. Yeah. So I could never. I have to call somebody. Do you have cable TV?
Check out
Is this working?
47. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's working, actually. We don't say it anymore because we're not sure.
Fair enough.
But we like the Horizon Cable people. They're great. They're right across the street, and we get some internet from them, and they underwrite, and they're marvelous, lovely folks. But so before, it was just on cable, so you had to have cable TV to listen. And then in 1999, they put the first transmitter on the top of a telephone pole that you can see from the station. It's just up Mesa Road by that big green barn that used to be red. And that's where KWMR started, was in that barn.
In that barn?
Yeah, in a closet. This was way before my time. And then they moved to the Creamery building, and I think they started the station there, and then there were people at Walnut Place, which is the senior housing, and they were like, your signal is interfering with whatever they were jamming to. And they were getting complaints. And then the Mount Vision fire happened, which was a big fire. It burned several homes up on the Inverness Ridge. Nobody died in that fire, but it was a big fire. And Horizon's equipment got burned, damaged. And then I don't know the exact thing that happened, but then they were saying, oh, well, these people don't want us here. Maybe we can go up on the top of that hill and have our equipment up on the top of a hill, which would be better coverage for sure. In fact, we're still in that same place, and you you can tune in to KWMR in Lake County.
Really?
If you're on the west side of a hill, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It comes
Wow.
in really far away. I mean, we have a lot of Sonoma County listeners who support the station from Santa Rosa.
Yeah, I can't get it.
You can't get it here. It's topography.
Yeah, you just got to be up higher.
If you're out on a boat in the ocean, you can listen to KWMR all day long.
That's amazing.
You can get it up in Gualala. You can get it in Timber Cove. We have listeners up there.
No way.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, but of course it doesn't come over White's Hill.
Right.
And so then they got the transmitter in Bolinas, a translator, which is a
booster. Like
it's not a booster. It's actually a translator, but translators have their own call number.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why it's been 89.5 or 7. It had to move a couple times as well. And now the 10 watt, which is like a bike light, the 10 watt translator is located with the Marin Emergency Radio Authority equipment.
Okay.
So we co-locate with them. We're really lucky. Like, we don't have to own our own towers. They're very kind, and they allow us to have space there.
That's cool.
We are good buddies with the fire department, Marin County Fire Department.
What kind of maintenance does that require? I mean, does it need stuff from time to time? Like, what's involved with keeping a tower together?
Well, I mean, you have an antenna and you have a transmitter, so you need a cabinet and a place to be. And over the last, I would say, 5 years, we have invested and gotten grants and replaced all of our transmitters.
So
good timing, huh? To get all this done,
all of it done
before
right before
the crash of the Corporation for
the
Public
big, beautiful
Broadcasting.
crash.
Yeah.
So from the microphone and from the turntable, it goes to...
So the way it works is from the studio in Point Reyes Station, it's a STL link to Mount Vision.
Okay.
Or Point Reyes Hill, whatever you want to call it. And it goes up there, and then it gets broadcast out on 90.5, and that's over 300 watts there, which is still not, like, if you think KSJO, which is like in San Jose, which is now a Bollywood station.
What?
Yeah. They're on 92.3 out of San Jose. We know that because our Valley signal is 92.3. And that's a 50,000 watt transmitter. So we're not that big, even though we can go far by line of sight. So Point Reyes was first, Bolinas was second, and then since I've been there, we were able to get the 92.3, and that's on top of the fire lookout on the top of Mount Barnaby. And if you go up Mount Barnaby to the top and you go and look at the door, there's, like, it says A. Eichstaedt or something, and like people call, and nobody's ever called me, but people take pictures of it.
That's pretty great.
Send it to me. So Richard Dillman, who's our transmitter wrangler, and when you call KWMR, that's his voice.
Oh, nice.
He's got a great voice.
Yeah, great voice.
And he and I, they go, yeah, you can put that up there. You can use that conduit. It was full, the conduit, and we used so much cable snot, and we were just up there swearing. We finally got that stuff through, and then it went down into the fire lookout into the bathroom, and then we had to route it over to the closet. But we're up there, so we have that. And but Bolinas has to go to the internet to get to Bolinas. There's no line of sight.
Yeah.
We have driven around. We have looked at so many things. Is there a way to get our signal without sending it to the public internet? And
throw it up on top of TAM or something. Like, it's just not.
Well, the way it gets there, get this. So it goes to the internet, and then it goes to Big Rock Ridge, and then it goes to Mount Tam, and then it goes back to Bolinas.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
People always talk about, like, AI is going to change everything. It's all this stuff is going to be so much better. It's like, well, we still have potholes. Things still break.
Yeah.
Like, you still get lost. Your foot still hurts. Like, there's all the same problems. And I don't see how AI is going to fix all that. Like,
AI is not going to fix anything. I think AI is just going to make things a whole lot worse.
May all your problems be brand new. It's one of my favorite things.
I very rarely read a whole article in the newspaper, but I go through the whole thing, the IJ, every morning. And I read the whole article on the AI stuff about kids and what's happening with kids and AI. I mean, this is not good.
No, it's not great.
It's not good. So we are actually working on our own AI policy.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're not going to use it.
Fair enough.
For any of our communication from the station.
Fair enough.
Someone's like, do you want it? And even the newsletter, they have a thing. They're like, would you like to use AI? I'm like, No, I don't want to use AI.
Like spell check is
annoying sometimes.
It
I mean,
can
it's
be
good.
annoying.
It's helpful.
It's
Because I'm a
helpful.
terrible speller.
I'm a
but-
terrible speller.
yeah.
I'm very glad of spell check and that it has like grammatical like there's that type of thing. I get it, but there's I don't know how smart I need it to be.
Well, an autocorrect, like in text, it's constantly causing me
that turned
problems.
off. I can't deal.
Yeah, that's
Like I like to swear, and autocorrect doesn't.
No.
So it's like we're at ease.
I know.
At odds here.
Yeah, I swear a lot. I just don't swear on the air.
Yeah, smart. So speaking of on the air, all right. So we've got kind of a sense of what adventurous stock you come from.
Yeah, that's just your basic career trajectory.
Yeah.
You know,
apple picking.
restaurants. I worked at an alfalfa sprout farm. I was a babysitter. I gave swimming lessons. Yeah.
I think this is why we get along. I think we can smell our own.
We survived.
Yeah.
We made it work.
Yeah, made it work. Not afraid to try new things.
Yeah.
Being unqualified has never stopped.
Yeah, because
you
I never
from-
did radio before.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of management experience, and that's what I figured would come in handy, and it does come in super handy.
When I went into the radio station, I was immediately charmed by just the vibe of it. It's so cool. But then when I went into your office, I was like, oh, okay. Because you've got the kind of desk and office that just suggests you have a million things in the air, but you have a good attitude about it. You're like, okay.
And I have a photographic memory, which
Do you
helps
really?
a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't remember a number walking across a room, but like
If you look at it, you've got it.
I've seen it. I saw it.
Wow. That's a cool
Yeah,
gift.
it's super helpful.
What's the opposite of a photographic memory? Like a mirror memory? Like it's as long as you're looking at it, you remember it as soon as you're gone?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Whatever that is, that's
Yeah.
what I've got. Someone probably told me what
Might
it
be
was.
a
I
dude
don't
thing.
remember.
Like,
Or it's a dude or a dumbass thing. Either way, I'm covered. But so you're very organized and you're very capable and you clearly love what you're doing. I mean, it sounds like this is the longest you've been at any place.
This is
in
the
your career.
longest I have. Yeah. I mean, for sure. It's the longest, and I'm not going anywhere as far as I'm.
Yeah.
We always joke, like, yeah, as long as you don't get run over by the Western stagecoach. We're like, well, it goes by my house like 30 times a day. So
tell me what, I mean, I think people have a sense for what's happening, but this is the horse's mouth. You have experienced directly
yeah, it's been a
what's
risk.
happening.
It's been a risk the whole time. Like so I've been there 15 years. I've been through 15 audits because the Corporation for Public Broadcasting would require us to do an audit.
Right.
So I started and the audit was already done that year. So maybe I've done 14 audits. And I didn't have any overlap with the person who was there before me.
They just left.
They had left.
Okay.
And during the time that they were gone, they hired a new bookkeeper who, and so I started and this bookkeeper and I were like,
Okay, now what?
well, it was kind of great. I mean, you can appreciate this because I didn't know what I was supposed to do, really. Yeah. So it was almost like that ignorance is bliss thing.
You're
and
not
I would
doing
just
it
be
wrong.
like, I'm just doing what I do. And then somebody would come in, you didn't do the thing. The thing is going to be late. You didn't do the thing. And I'm like, well, what's the thing? Tell me what the thing is. And then, okay, and now I do the thing every year. And that's on part of my plan. And so I have this huge document now that says all the things that I do. What I do every day, what I do once a week, what I do twice a week, what I do monthly, what's due quarterly, what I do annually.
You made that with a pen and pencil or a computer?
It's a Google.
Yeah.
It's a Google sheet with attached docs.
Nice.
It's probably out of date already because things are changing. So, but when we finally did an audit, I was like, because I had to find everything.
Right.
And it took a long time to find stuff because I didn't know where anything was.
I can imagine.
But now things are really clean. Like we've done all these audits all these years.
Yeah.
And so
but it's always been, I mean, it's never not a challenge. I've never heard a public radio station in their fund drive being all cool, calm, and collected. Like, hey, no, just whatever. If you got some extra cash, it's always like this, pitch and this not quite sweaty palm desperation, but there's like a tone of like, for God's sake, you don't have any idea how hard this is.
Yeah.
You can just hear it in the timbre.
Everybody just loves begging for money.
Everybody loves it.
It's just like the best. I mean, but yeah, it's never, I have a friend who is in radio and he's an ex-weatherman and he is, where is he? He's in the flat state in the middle of the country, north of Arizona or something. I can't remember exactly where he is, but he's in Oklahoma. I think he's in Ada. And he would go to these conferences, and we got to be pals. Because who doesn't want like a big, friendly weatherman friend?
Right. I wish I had a weatherman friend.
He's great. Yeah. And we were out having a drink at the conference, and I'm like, so like, what do you guys do with your pledge drives? And he's like, oh, we don't do pledge drives. Well, they're a native station. They're funded through the tribe.
Oh, that's cool.
And they have like oil holdings and casinos, and I mean, they have plenty of money.
The community just.
And I was like, you don't have to do a pledge drive, dude. And actually, I was kind of down on the pledge drives. And my first board president, who was there when I got hired, he was like, no, it's a gift. You've got the airwaves. Like all these other nonprofits, they have to raise money too, but they don't have a megaphone.
Yeah. And the thing that I've come to learn about like raising money for a thing, if you really love it and believe in it, you're not selling.
No.
You're storytelling. You're explaining a thing that you you really care. You want people to know about it. And what you provide, never mind just the entertainment value or the fun of radio, is, life-saving services, and having that radio ready to transmit, okay, here's what's happening. There's a tree down over here. We got flooding. There's a fire. You're in what people who've never lived in a rural place might not understand is like the immediacy of the impact of weather.
Yeah, and also the sort of small number of roads that you can take to go in and out.
Kind of one in and out, yeah.
Yeah, it's that is really true. I remember a couple years ago, it was one of those, like the storms have definitely gotten worse. It's just like, look around the country. And I was there, the power was out, so the generator was on. We have to be there. I was there because I'm pretty much the closest person. And at the time I had my van, and I took it up there in case I had to spend the night because I couldn't get home because the storm was so bad.
Yeah. One tree, and then
I'm
the whole thing.
Back and forth texting with the fire department. And it's like getting late, and the wind has died. And I really thought the roof might, it was just like rattling, that was whipping. I was like, is this roof going to stay on? Like, is this okay? Is this an okay?
Am I right?
And I got to, it was about 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, well, this storm has passed. The power's still out. But there's nothing I can do about that. That's a PG&E thing. And so I called over to the fire station, and I was like, I think I'm going to go home. Can I get home? And they said, well, don't go down Highway 1. It's still flooded, but you can take Levee Road to Bear Valley. Would you like a fire escort? Oh, wow. And I was like, damn.
Yep.
I said, I think I'm okay, but thank you. I didn't take the fire escort, but I was super honored that they asked me.
That's really cool.
And I drove home that night, and it was surreal, Andrew. There was so much like stuff on the road, and there were deer. It was
freaked out.
It was just bizarre. So
I can imagine.
I went home, went to bed, got up the next morning, went back up, started the generator because the power was still off. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that alone, like if that's not a thing worth, like it just seems like the government should keep those. There should be tons of those all around the country.
No, this was totally a political.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this because it'll really hit them below the belt. And I watched all those hearings on C-SPAN.
You did. Wow.
Oh, yeah. I was just riveted.
I couldn't stomach it out.
Oh, no.
I tried to lock in. I couldn't.
Oh, no.
You watched the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing, and I was like, when Lindsey Graham looks like... Oh, no, Mitch McConnell. Not Lindsey Graham doesn't look reasonable ever. No, when Mitch McConnell is looking kind of reasonable.
Yeah, that's when things have collapsed.
Dude, entirely. I was just appalled at the way they just sort of took this bizarre stuff and said, this is what this is funding. And I'm like, you're missing the point. And then when Tom Tillis from North Carolina didn't vote to keep it after Helene went through there.
Right. That guy knows. He's got his constituency.
He's not even running again. He didn't have anything to lose except for whatever everybody's so scared of or pent up about.
We're terrified. So explain what, I know you lost like 26% of your budget, right? So can you explain what that means to you? And it's like it's starting now, right? Like that money's
it was
gone.
So and get this, it was on Monday. I was struggling with some let's call the Mercury in retrograde situations. And it was like, I don't need anything else on my plate right now, but this was an extra thing. And I'm working away trying to solve this problem. And I get an email. It was an automated email from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting informing me that my financial reports had been approved. And I'm like, okay, like I'm lying here on the ground and I've just invited you in to come and kick me in the stomach, like, thanks.
Yeah.
And it was not their fault. I mean,
Right.
it was just scheduled, I think, to tell me that things were on track. But yeah, they pulled it back. So it was a 2-year advance appropriation. And that was meant to be in place to avoid political stuff like this.
Right.
But they invoked some old act, from the 1970s or something, to rescind this money. And so it was gone immediately. Like, we thought we would have like a 2-year runway.
Yeah.
Like, okay, these guys don't want this. They're going to vote it out, but now we still have 2 years
Right.
to figure out a solution.
Yeah.
But there's no solution. I mean, it was like now, and then a week after, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting says we're systematically going to start shutting down. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is worse than like stringing up Big Bird like outside on the town square.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, all the things that they've done over the years, it's so formative in my generation. I mean, I grew up on
we
that.
know how to share because we
share.
watched Sesame
Like
Street.
Sesame Street,
Yeah.
I mean, The Count,
Yeah.
the whole thing, all of it,
Electric Company, Zoom.
Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Like, there's just
Ken
so
Burns.
much.
I keep getting these weird things, and I'm very suspicious now of things that ask you to sign on because they're saying, oh, I'm getting these texts from some Democratic called thing, and they're saying, Ken Burns is going to make it happen. Join your name. And I haven't done it because we're not asking for money. And I'm like, yeah, this is kind of a done deal, dude. Like, Ken, where were you? And actually, I'm very disappointed in the music industry.
Yeah, that there wasn't more.
Well, I sent an
louder
email
pushback.
to all these radio promoters that I had worked with, and they send me stuff, and I, over the years.
Yeah.
And I said, this is a real thing. Like, these are the stations that are playing the music for the musicians that you are representing.
Yeah.
You're not going on big commercial radio out of the box with a
Right.
singer-songwriter. Like, how many white guys with guitars, are getting rapped by
Right.
you guys?
Right.
Yeah, and I heard
Nothing.
I didn't hear back from anybody.
Wow.
And then after it all went down, there was a post from the Americana Music Association, and because we sort of non-actively report out to their chart. I used to be more active. I got tired of reviewing bad CDs, but and they put a thing out, and then I read the comments, and it was like, oh no, our tax dollars shouldn't be paying for that. Just like, okay, you guys are in Nashville. I understand you're in the Bible Belt, whatever, but
Yeah.
this is $1.60 per person per year.
Yeah. It's like a rounding error. It's nothing.
And if they take apart the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which they're systematically beginning to do,
happening, yeah.
then what happens? Like, I don't think it's all going to come back.
Oh.
It's a 60-year-old institution
Yeah.
that has all of its systems in place.
And all this expertise and people who just know the job.
Yeah, they're
and
great
know
people.
The thing. Yeah.
They care.
That really care. It's one of those things that like, there's certain government organizations that, you don't go to the DMV because you really like drivers.
Yeah.
You don't like.
But even with the CPB, Andrew, I would say that there are times when like these inspector generals would like question some expenses.
Totally.
And you just
reform.
Were like, CPB.
Right.
Arr.
Reform,
Like,
for sure.
yeah.
Reform, analyze, but to
Don't-
wholesale. What did you had a great line the other day, throw the big bird out with the.
Oh, hang him in the town square.
Yeah,
Like,
something like that. It
put
just,
him in the stocks.
there's like a whole, I don't know, theory of mind that just is just gone. The idea of like taking your time and figuring a thing out. Like, no, just screw that. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
We'll do it over with something else or nothing.
It's like it's just this, and it just seems like the whole administration is sort of like bad Batman villains, and then they actually look like bad Batman
Kinda,
villains.
yeah.
You're kind of like, whoever cast this did a great
nailed it.
job. They really nailed it. Yeah.
So you guys are managing. You're finding a way I mean, people are upping the amount that they're giving, which is cool.
They are. A lot of people are. It's
You've
awesome.
got a car coming for me. I'm going to donate my car to you guys.
Not your big red car.
Not the
no,
not the van.
Okay.
No, I've got a 2003 Honda Element with like 320,000 miles on it.
Bring it on.
I'm gonna
Cars
give
are
it to
coming.
Kate.
The cars come in. We get a lot.
And a lot of people have kicked their donation up by the percentage that you guys lost.
The monthly donors, the calendar club, are upping.
Yeah.
And they can't do it themselves, unfortunately, the way
Right,
our
you have to
database
call.
works. But I am having some great conversations with
That's
people,
cool.
so that's just worth it to me.
So what's the ask? How do you fix this? Are you're looking for more grants elsewhere?
We will be talking to other grant funders, although we don't fit into a lot of. I mean, we're not actually feeding the people. We're not actually.
Right.
We're not direct service, but we are critical to those direct service organizations.
Yeah.
And the emergency stuff is pretty direct.
Yeah.
So I mean, people are responding. People care. People are angered by this.
Yeah.
And I was concerned. There was a station in Louisville that raised their entire grant amount in one day. Granted, there's more people concentrated in that area. It's a big sort of urban area. And I was like, can you do that again next year when it's not as dire? And what about when you go to do your pledge drive and they all said, well, we just gave you money.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to cannibalize on my drives because I still have to raise that money. This is in addition. This is.
Right.
So when our pal Lee Giamona, who is the woman who came up with the 25 to Stay Alive campaign, she's great. And she said, well, what if everybody just gave 25% more? Would that solve the problem? And I was still in the crying phase at that point, and I was really angry, and I was just like, would that work?
Yeah.
And so then I went into my office, sat at my messy desk, and went into QuickBooks, and I wrote a budget that took into consideration that our development director had resigned, and that we didn't have to do an audit, and that we weren't going to pay for some of the produced programming that we were paying for with some of that grant money that was required to be spent on that. Mm-hmm. And where else could I cut? And I wrote a budget. So my budget for this coming year that starts on October 1st would probably have been a sort of a break even, maybe a little extra, including the CPB grant, which would have been about $160,000.
Yeah.
So writing that budget with all those cuts, like tightening the belt, figuring out what you don't need, like nobody's going to a conference, we're not going to do that, we're not going to do this, and sort of looking at the revenue and the expenses. So there's a lot of stuff that, it's not like, oh, we lost our funding, so can you lower my electric bill?
Right.
And how about those insurance bills? Those just keep going up.
Yeah. Hey, you 3 or 4 other employees, can you guys just take a little bit less money every year? No.
Well, and then actually one of my employees had been on a maternity leave and is back, has a cute little baby, a very healthy little baby girl. And she came back fewer hours. And about a year and a half ago, we reduced our benefits eligibility threshold to 20 hours. So actually, people could go back, and she came back, so she's still benefits eligible, but she's not at the same number of full-time hours at 32.
Right.
32 is full-time. And the guy who was covering for her, he wants to stay, but he can't work as many hours. So I'm basically now 24 hours of development work short. But I've got some great people there.
Yeah.
And so I wrote this budget that would not lay anybody off at all or reduce anybody's hours. So what if I don't? I want to keep all these people because these people are all critical and do great stuff. Yeah. So, but I cut all the things I could cut, and I went down to the bottom. I pressed save. Okay, I'm $70,000 in the hole, but that's better than 160.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I then said, well, this Lee Giamona idea, let's see. So I went to my fiscal year 23-24, and I said, I took all the individual donations. So this didn't count the cars.
Right.
Didn't count underwriting. Didn't count any grants. And I took all those individual donations from the pledge drives, the calendar club, all that stuff, and I just multiplied it by 25% to see what would happen. $70,000.
No way.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, we can do this.
Nice.
It's going to be tight. It's not going to be great, and we can build back up from this.
Right.
And honestly, the industry standard is that 10% of your listeners in any given area are going to give, and that pencils out. Like basically over the years, anywhere between 900 and probably 1,200 people give annually, and there's like 14,000 people in the immediate FM listening area, not including people who listen on the stream or the app or however. So I think if you haven't ever given to, now's the time to do it, and not just do it once, but do it as a sustainer, or plan. And some of our more generous donors who support at a, like say somebody gives you $1,000 a year most years when they remember or whatever, they're committing to higher amounts.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I've raised a lot of calendar clubs in the last week.
That's cool.
And I still have more people that I'm playing phone tag with because I have to talk to you. So
got to do it in person or on the phone.
So it's encouraging that people are stepping up.
Yeah. There's a way forward for you that is not close the station or lay somebody off or do
but I think
stuff.
but what's heartbreaking is in other places where there just aren't as many people or there aren't as many people with resources.
There's going to be a lot lost.
Yeah, there's going to be stuff and it's going to increase the sort of like news deserts.
Yeah.
And it's part of that whole like, well, if they don't know anything, then we can tell them whatever we want.
Whatever we want. Yeah. Well,
so the overall picture is just terrible.
It's not great.
But we're fortunate to be where we are in Marin. It's a nice place. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place to go broke.
It's a good, it's a wonderful place to go broke or go out of business. But no, KWMR is going to hang out and keep going, and everybody's got the right attitude at work.
Send them to the website. How do they find you?
KWMR.org. There's a big pop-up, those annoying pop-ups that will tell you to give because this is the time to do it. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to keep giving. We're going to shout it from the rooftop and try to get as many people to care as I can.
Yeah.
But I believe in just community public radio as a thing, no matter where you live. I've always been tuned into it, and I've always liked it. I come from Memphis. WVL was my station. I always loved it. I still love it. You can still dial in online.
When I was on KALW yesterday, being interviewed about this, and I was you heard that interview with the producer of Philosophy Talk. That's heartbreaking. So
heartbreaking. That's a good show.
That's a great show. It started out of KALW, and we play it on KWMR. And I was just like, what? They got their humanities grants cut and they still wanted them to finish the project?
Right.
And then like Stanford's pulling away because they're losing all their funding. It's like, I think what people don't realize about this is that, yes, these stations have been hit hard, but the whole system, the infrastructure.
The information infrastructure.
Is
under attack.
Under attack. Yeah. And it's I talked to a fellow last night who had worked as a cameraman for 60 Minutes, and just for years did NFL and basketball and all kinds of really great cameraman, really great stories. This guy, you should talk to him.
I'd like to. Yeah. What's his name?
Mark Allen.
Okay.
And he was saying that all those CBS folks are just heartbroken at what's happened with CBS.
Yeah.
Like this is happening all over the place.
Yeah. Colbert. I mean, just everywhere you look, there's some sort of goofball media thing happening.
Yeah. So
and there's so many dominoes falling at once. You don't know where to look, and it's a weird time.
Yeah, and people are not. They're not reading maps. They're just relying on their phone. They're using AI or whatever. It's like, don't diminish your own ability to think.
Yeah.
That's critical.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's a good place to leave it. Yeah. Don't diminish your own capacity to think.
Yeah.
I'm very glad that you took the time to come over the hill today.
Yeah, I'm liking these chairs. Very comfortable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yours is technically a rocker. I've got it jammed up so you don't rock too much. But
yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah. Once we take you off the mic, I'll turn the rocker back on. But,
okay.
Thank you, Amanda. And
Thank
anything
you,
else
Andrew.
that anybody needs to know? We covered?
I would say if you have ideas or if you want to talk about this,
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, how are you doing? Oh, is everything okay?" And no, I want to talk to you. I want to hear because you might have like the best idea
Right.
ever, and I just haven't thought of it yet.
I've got some ideas, but I bet you've already thought of it.
Maybe not.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.